I'm very excited and honored to be here with you today. We're going to talk a little bit about innovation, technology, and global trends in AI. Um, as we said earlier, I spent a bit of time at eBay launching the innovation division for them, launching also their venture studio. I was also a general manager at eBay and Wolt, so these are the perspectives that I'm bringing. So as we get started talking about innovation in AI, who doesn't, right? Let's start with a quick poll. Who all here thinks that the best innovation in the past years is the smartphone? Nobody? The smartphone. You have TikTok on it. One. He knows what TikTok is. Thank you. How about the computer? The computer was big, right? Now we run everything off of that infrastructure. The smartphone, I mean, that's also pretty cool. It's more computing power than NASA used to send people to the moon, right? The internet. It's got to be the internet then. Everybody's hands are going to go up with the internet, right? Who's got the t-shirt that says, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" All right, nobody's fessing up. What I want to do today is actually put all of those aside for a moment, and I want to tell you a short story about the air conditioner. And you might be saying, come on, Justin, really, we're at a conference about technology. We want to talk about AI. What's the air conditioner here about, right? Well, stick with me. In 1902, Wilhelm and Sackett is a printing company, and they had a problem. They're based in New York. They found that the humidity and the warm air was causing the paper that they're trying to print on to expand and shrink. And when you're printing color prints, that thing needs to go through the printer multiple times. The color wasn't lining up. Clients were complaining. So they hired this guy, Willis Carrier, to find a solution for the problem. And he did. He created a system to blow air over cold pipes, which remove the humidity and remove the heat. Now, all of a sudden, the problem was solved. The company could start printing accurately again. Carrier then patented this technology and took it to other companies who had the same problem. A flour mill. You don't want your flour clumping up. Or the Gillette Corporation. You don't want to shave with rusty razor blades, right? But it didn't stop there. All of a sudden, a few years later, the theater was transformed because of his invention. Now people could go see shows in the heat of July. Government offices also started using what they called the weather maker, so that the staff could work into the summer. But it still didn't stop there. A global phenomenon ensued. Countries and regions that were too warm to live in became possible. Think Manila, think Jakarta, Lagos, Rio, Dubai. Lee Kuan Yew, the late Prime Minister of Singapore, was credited with saying that the air conditioner is the second most important factor to Singapore's success. This allowed the entire tropics region, which accounts for 40% of the world's population, to be more productive. And that was a lot of productivity. That's a lot of efficiency. It allowed our servers to get cooled. It decreased the number of deaths during heat waves, and it even enabled skyscrapers to get built. Who would have thought? This is one engineer's innovation for humidity, and he changed a lot more than the printing business. He caused an avalanche of all of these impacts, right? And so his genius came not from actually creating a metal box with cold pipes in it, but rather that was just the beginning. The real impact came when that cool air became possible, and all of these other impacts came as a result of it. And this pattern is still relevant for us today. So let's come back to 2025. We've got all these technologies in front of us, right? Quantum computing, clean energy. We've got biotech. We even have dog robots with flamethrowers. That's pretty cool. But the one technology that economists call a general purpose technology is AI. Now, I don't think AI needs much of an introduction in this room, am I right? But what I am here to tell you is that AI can have a similar impact to what the air conditioner did for us years ago. So, with that said, let's get into some trends in AI and how that might impact how that might impact what AI will do for us in the future. And let's start with money. Money. Since 2013, $760 billion was invested into AI, all private money, right? $500 billion of that, so basically 2/3, came from the US, 1/5 came from Asia, and the rest of it was made up of the Middle East and Europe. So we got a lot of room here, right? We got to equalize this a bit. What's also interesting is that most of the money went to AI infrastructure and data. That's the two kind of bigger parts of the pie there. And so what this means is there's a lot of room actually, that investment lays the foundation for investing into AI applications into the future. And so all those little pieces of the pie that you see there, that's got to get bigger. We're going to invest into that next. We also know that venture capital funding has fallen off a cliff, more or less, right? Since 2021 and 2022, those boom years, they're gone. But if you double click and look at VC funding for AI, well, venture funding is alive and well. In fact, growing and healthy. Now, that's all the private stuff. What about the public stuff? Well, if you look at all the governments across the globe, and I'm just talking about the major programs, right? There's over $1 trillion earmarked for investment into AI. And if we focus just on the government-funded part, which is the green bars here behind me, the Middle East is leading the charge, right? Saudi, UAE, Qatar. And Saudi has, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has announced some really big programs to invest into AI and move away from oil. Asia, also a similar story. Cornerstones by China, Japan, and Korea, also very big programs. Now, let's go to the other end of the spectrum really quick. The US and Canada, tiny sliver of green. What's going on there? Well, not so many programs, but what the US does do, being a private investment-led market, is they announced Stargate. And coming home back to Europe, we've got a nice mix of everything. We've got EU-level commitments, we've got national commitments. You guys heard about some of that. We've got also private and public investment. So generally a good mix. But if we take a quick step back and look at this picture, the funding is there. The capital is ready. Then the question is, what's the ambition? What are we going to do with AI? Let's have a quick look at the applications of AI so far, and we'll take a quick tour across these 4 continents to see what people are doing with AI there. So first stop, the US. Over 750,000 robots are running around in Amazon warehouses, picking, packing, and shipping, decreasing customer delivery times and also decreasing costs. Autonomous vehicles, Waymo, Cruise, have driven millions of kilometers, pushing driverless mobility forward. And in the US also, the FDA had approved 6 AI medical devices in 2015. That number in 2023 was 223. So healthcare is being driven with AI. Going westward, we end up in Asia. China arguably has the world's largest surveillance AI network in the world. With this network, they're able to use facial recognition and gait recognition using AI in order to understand traffic patterns, in order to deter crime, and even to shame jaywalkers. Yes, I know it was you. Over in Japan, they're putting it in their assembly lines. In Singapore, they're using it in their ports. They're guiding ships autonomously using AI to optimize the route and to reduce error. That's improving efficiency by 30%. Let's continue westward. We end up in the Middle East. Dubai's smart police station can take your crime reports. They can also take your residency documentation, all without any human involved, 24/7 in 7 languages. Saudi Aramco, they're using deep learning models to find oil underneath complex rock structures. This is saving them 50%, 50, in drilling costs. And also at Dubai International Airport, they're pushing people through that immigration queue in 14 seconds because of facial recognition AI. And coming home to Europe, we've got John Deere here using a camera-enabled pesticide spraying, also enabled by AI, to reduce the pesticides by 70%. Meanwhile, driving at 25 kilometers an hour. Airbus, also using AI for designing of new aircraft. The Deutsche Bahn, reducing their tardiness when there are disruptions in the network, and we know they need that. So completely different markets, right? But the insight is exactly the same. It's not so much about AI and what the AI algorithm is delivering. It's about how the application of that AI is. That's where the value is. Willis Carrier didn't imagine that his invention would cause skyscrapers in Dubai. The same thing that none of us in this room today knows what innovations we're going to build in the next 10 years using AI. But that is exactly the opportunity, and that's exactly what is exciting. Okay? So I want to leave you with this. Keeping in mind Willis Carrier's air conditioning story, and also having seen some AI trends and what's happening with AI applications across these continents, I want to challenge us with this. How will you take these transformative technologies to innovate and bring global impact? Could AI be the air conditioner that enables you to do something transformative in your domain? My contact details are up here. I'd love to talk further and get to know you and what you're building. Let's go and build the next century's most impactful innovations together. Thank you.